You might think you're protected online, but if you're using the wrong tool, you could still be exposing your browsing activity, your IP address, or even your location. Or you might be slowing your internet down for no reason. And a big part of the problem is confusing marketing. DNS, VPNs, and Tor are often presented like they do the same thing, but they don't. So let's cut through that. We're putting all three in a battle royale so that you know exactly which one to use and when. Now, we could explain this with technical terms like routing paths, encryption layers, relay nodes, but that gets really complicated pretty quickly. So here's the simpler version. If you use Tor to stream a movie, it's gonna buffer forever. If you rely on something like Smart DNS for privacy, you could be exposed in a matter of seconds. The difference comes down to how your data travels. DNS is like sending a postcard. It gets delivered fast, but the message is written in plain text. Anyone along the way can read it. A VPN is more like an armored truck. Your data is locked inside, encrypted and protected, but the company running the truck still knows where it came from and where it's going. Tor is a spy network. Your messages pass through multiple relays in different locations, each one only knowing the step before and after. By the end, no one can trace it back to you, but it takes much longer to get there. So while they might sound similar, these tools are solving very different problems. So now let's break them down one by one and see where each one actually wins. And if you find these kind of breakdowns useful, then consider subscribing and turning on notifications. It helps the channel and lets us keep making all of this free content. Now, starting with DNS. At a basic level, DNS is what tells your device where to go when you enter a website. You type in a domain name and DNS translates it into the actual server address behind it. And this is already happening on every device that you use. Your phone, your laptop, your smart TV, they all rely on DNS by default. So you don't need to turn anything on, it's already working in the background without you even knowing it. But what you can do is switch to a different DNS provider. That usually means going into your device or router settings and replacing the default DNS addresses with ones from a provider like Google Public DNS or Cloudflare. We'll link to a few options down in the description. This takes a minute or two, and depending on your network, it can improve speed or reliability. Now, you might also come across something called Smart DNS. This isn't a setting built into your device. It's a separate service that you sign up for, sometimes included with VPNs, and sometimes offered on its own. Instead of installing an app, you configure it by replacing your DNS settings with the provider's servers. And from there, it runs automatically in the background. But here's why that's useful. Smart DNS selectively reroutes the part of your connection that checks your location. So when a service like Netflix checks where you're accessing it from, it sees a different region and unlocks that content library. But everything else, like the actual streaming, goes through your normal connection, and that's why it's so fast. There's no full rerouting and no heavy encryption slowing things down, but that speed comes with a trade-off. On its own, Smart DNS doesn't hide your IP address or fully encrypt your traffic. So if your goal is privacy or anonymity, then it's not the right tool by itself. But if you want fast, reliable access to geo-blocked content without slowing your connection down, then Smart DNS is one of the simplest ways to do just that. We've linked to a few VPNs that include Smart DNS, along with a few standalone options down in the description if you want to see which ones support it. And if speed is the main thing you care about, then we've also tested which DNS providers are actually the fastest right now. I'll leave a link to that video on screen and down in the description. Now, compare that to a VPN. A VPN works at a completely different level. Instead of just directing your traffic, it encrypts everything leaving your device and routes it through a secure server before it reaches the internet. So from the outside, your activity no longer appears to come from you, it appears to come from the VPN server instead. And that has a few important effects. Your internet provider can't see what you're doing in the same way. On public Wi-Fi, your data isn't exposed to other people on the network, and because you can choose server locations, you can access content that's restricted to certain regions. And this is why, for most people, a VPN ends up being the most practical option. It gives you a strong layer of privacy while still being fast enough for everyday use, whether that's streaming in 4K, browsing, or even gaming, as long as you're connected to a reliable server. If you want an even deeper breakdown of how VPNs actually work, we have a full animated guide. You'll find that linked on screen and down in the description. The trade-off here is that instead of relying on your internet provider, you're now relying on the VPN service. And that's why things like no logs policies, independent audits, and where the company is based start to matter a lot more. And that's exactly what we focus on. For over a decade, we've been testing and comparing major VPN providers, verifying no logs claims, analyzing audits, and measuring real-world performance so that you can see which ones actually hold up. And if you're trying to choose the right one for you, we've linked to our top recommendations down in the description, including options that have built-in smart DNS settings. So what doesn't a VPN do? Well, it doesn't make you completely anonymous. If you're logged into your accounts or being tracked through cookies or browser fingerprinting, then that still applies even if you're using a VPN. That's where Tor comes in, and we'll get to that next. What a VPN does is limit who can see your traffic and where it appears to come from. For most people, that's exactly the level of protection that they need on a daily basis. Now, Tor works differently again. Tor stands for the onion router, and it's built around one idea, layering your connection so it's extremely difficult to trace. Instead of sending your traffic through a single server, like a VPN, Tor routes it through a series of relays, usually 3, run by volunteers around the world. Each relay only knows part of the journey. The first relay sees your IP address, but not your final destination. The last relay sees where the traffic is going, but not where it came from. By the time your request reaches its destination, it's passed through multiple layers, making it very difficult to trace it back to you. And that's the goal of Tor, anonymity. It's designed for situations where that level of protection actually matters. Think journalists, whistleblowers, activists, or anyone handling sensitive information, especially in restrictive environments. You'll often hear Tor associated with the dark web, since it's one of the ways that people access .onion sites, but that's just one part of how it's used. It's also free and decentralized, meaning there's no single company controlling the network, but there are trade-offs. Tor is significantly slower than both DNS and VPNs. Your traffic is bouncing through multiple layers, often across different countries, so delays add up pretty quickly. And that makes it very impractical for things like streaming, gaming, or downloading large files. It's also important to understand how it works in practice. Most people use Tor through the Tor Browser, which is a modified browser that automatically routes only your browsing traffic through the Tor network. That means that anything inside the Tor browser is routed through the Tor network, but other apps on your device, like messaging apps or background services, will still use your normal internet connection unless you configure them separately. And even inside Tor, your behavior still matters. Logging into personal accounts or sharing identifiable information can still link activity back to you. Some VPN providers also offer built-in Tor routing, which lets you access the Tor network without using the Tor browser at all, and provides you with an extra layer of security. We've linked to a VPN that supports this down in the description if you want to explore that specific setup. If you want to try Tor in its standard form, we'll also include a direct link to the Tor browser down in the description. So Tor is powerful, but it's built for a very specific use case. For most people, it's not the tool for you to use for everyday browsing, streaming, or downloading. And at this point, it comes down to one question: what are you actually trying to do? Because these tools are built for different purposes. You wouldn't use a tank to go to the grocery store, and you wouldn't ride a bicycle in a war zone. And the exact same idea applies here. Use the right tool for the right job. If your priority is speed, streaming, quick access to content without slowdowns, then DNS is usually enough. If anonymity is critical, where being traced actually matters, then that's where Tor comes in. But for most people, the need falls somewhere in between. You want real privacy and better streaming access without making the internet difficult to use. And that's where a VPN fits in. In some setups, these tools can also be combined. Certain VPNs include smart DNS features, so you can get the speed benefits of DNS when you need them. And like I said, others include dedicated Tor servers and settings, adding an extra layer between you and the network. So instead of trying to pick a single winner, it's really about choosing the right level of protection for what you're doing. Each one is built for a different level of speed, privacy, and anonymity. And in the most real-world situations, it's about finding the balance that fits what you're doing yourself. That's why tools like VPNs tend to sit in the center, especially when they give you flexibility to switch between features like smart DNS or more advanced features when you need them. So if you want help choosing a VPN that actually backs up its security claims, then check out our full comparison video linked up here. We've also linked to our top rated options down in the description for the different use cases that we covered in today's video. And using those links can help you get the best available deals, and it helps support this channel at no extra cost to you, which we really appreciate. But as always, thank you so much for watching VPN Mentor, and we'll see you in the next video.